I'm with Zeynep Ersin from Seyfarth, and she has one of the greatest roles, I think, that I know of right now. She is the Chief Innovation and Strategic Design Officer. You hear me talk about, emerging and evolving roles all the time. There's the Chief Innovation Officer, there's the Legal Chief of Staff, there's the Legal Chief Strategy Officer, but to be the Chief Innovation and Strategic Design Officer is a great role. You work directly with Lori Ullman, the head of the firm. Thank you so much for taking some time and joining us here at Legalweek 26. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. Thrilled to be here.
We've been on the road an awful lot the last 2 years together at all of the different solids. You've been an amazing underwriter and venue sponsor. So first of all, thank you very much. And second of all, let's jump into it. How has your world been impacted by the adoption and the adaption and the appetite at Seyfarth in and around AI tools, AI technology? What's going on?
Yeah. Well, I think, and my role was created about a year ago, so it kind of paralleled with a lot of the huge uptick we've seen in what's been happening in the industry. And so the last 12 months have been exciting, invigorating, busy.
Anxiety producer.
So much going on. And it's just been, it's been a fun ride, I have to say.
Who's your go-to in the firm right now? What's the partnership look like with you and other peers in the firm? Because when we were prepping for this just a little bit, you said this has gone through the firm like wildfire. There's not a lot of resistance. There's no resistance. There's appetite and enthusiasm. But do you have a partner? Do you have a posse? Is there a team that goes about this with you?
I mean, yeah, it's a combination, really. Certainly, I know you mentioned Lori Ullman, who's the chair and managing partner of the firm. She is fully leaned into all things innovation, embracing emerging technology, AI. My colleague Byung Kim, our chief data and AI officer, we work hand in hand very regularly. And then, frankly, all of our various respective business unit leaders. Other chiefs, department chairs. I mean, this is an ongoing, active conversation and dialogue across the firm.
You mentioned to me earlier that you're AI first now. You wake up in the morning and you're thinking what can AI do and how can it do it, and deconstructing workflows at Seyfarth. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, I think, at Seyfarth, we have for decades leaned into Lean Six Sigma process mapping and really dissecting workflows. So that aspect, and having had the benefit of having done hundreds of process maps to really understand how the work moves. But now being able to leverage emerging tech and AI on top of that, I think we're uniquely positioned to have a close look at where technology can play a real role. For me personally, I still wake up and write my to-do list by hand. But of course, I review it and think, okay, now where am I going to leverage technology to get this done? And I think that that's a very common thread, which most people are waking up with. It's thinking about how we're going to embrace this technology in our day-to-day, in the way in which we're delivering legal services, and most importantly, sharing it with each other.
Do you have a favorite platform of what I call the core four: Claude, Copilot, ChatGPT, and Gemini? Is there one that you're gravitating towards these days?
I think it's evolved, so I don't want to commit to one answer because it may actually also change the way the technology continues to evolve.
So the right answer, because 3 weeks ago I would have said ChatGPT,
exactly. Yeah.
And now I would say Claude,
right.
And now I know that this weekend coming, I'm going to spend 2 hours with Notebook LM because 3 of my guests here just go, "You've got to try Notebook LM." I'm like, okay, I'm open. I have a 4-car garage.
Yeah.
All right, and it's like I've got a garage for each one, and depending on what I need, that's the car that I'm going to drive. That's the LLM I'm going to drive.
Right. Yeah.
So what's next? And what's next for you? What are you most looking forward to in terms of initiatives that are coming forward and coming next?
I think, we've had an ongoing initiative, kind of our simultaneous advancement, where we're trying to find ways to get folks to learn together, as you will often say, to think out loud together, to share ideas. I think that's where a lot of the magic happens, is creating environments and platforms for those conversations to flow. And that's, continuing to do more of that and having that maybe look different in different scale in terms of the user groups we're bringing together, the types of conversations they're having. It's ongoing. I think right now we are in a huge moment where feedback is critical, not only metrics, quantitative-based feedback in terms of the tools, but also really experience-based and having conversations with folks to understand the difference the tools are making, how they're using them, how they're thinking about them. So it's been really exciting to engage in those conversations and see those eyes light up, or those aha moments when someone hears about a use case from a colleague or someone else that they can either immediately apply or they can pivot slightly and make it more relevant to themselves.
As the Chief Innovation and Strategic Design Officer, if you were to share that insights from that role with others that say, that's interesting, how do I become one of those, or what's engaged and involved with those, what is that role about? And it's a terrible setup for a question. I've got to ask it a question. Let me get this right. So how do you set that up? What advice would you have to people? Go like, here are the components of that. Are you measuring things? Are you bringing people together? Is it an ambassador role? Is it a strategic? This is what I want to ask.
Yeah.
Is it more strategic, tactical, or operational? Let me take this again. Right. Whoever's editing this podcast, ready, take two. So I've got a question for you about your role. Is it more strategic, tactical, or operational?
I would say it's all of the above. I think it's part of why I think that I came into this role, and you've heard me say this, is that I am a what if person, but oftentimes it's not just about asking the what if, it's actually, okay, that's a great idea, go do it, right? So you have to be tactical, you have to be operational. So it's having ideas, but thinking through how to execute them. That doesn't have to be a huge break the box thing. It could be a very small process improvement, but I think it's just being able to demonstrate your personal way of thinking and the different angles you took into consideration when you came up with that idea.
Zeynep, share with the audience, if you will, because I didn't do a full introduction for you. We jumped right into it. What's your background? What were your two gigs before this, if you will? As you were climbing the career jungle gym, what did you do before this?
So my career has always been in law firms, but I started on the kind of legal recruiting, professional development side, talent development, and then I moved into practice development. I was really interested in the kind of the business, the operations, the strategy, and along the way, I also got my MBA, and so most recently, then I obviously moved into this position. So it's been a lot of the human centric aspects of the business in a law firm environment, which I think absolutely plays a critical role for the position that I have now as well.
And speak to, again, to the audience, if you will, that those that are listening, the value of your MBA. I've always been of the mindset of like, the MBA teaches you a different language. It's a skill set, of course, but there's a language and a way of speaking, and you're influenced by that. If you were a doctor, you'd learn that language. An engineer would learn a different language. But the MBA, I find it invaluable right now, that framework of thinking. Can you talk to that just a little bit for those that are listening?
Sure. Well, I think at the end of the day, even if you're an attorney, you work for a business, right? A law firm is a business. You need to understand what makes a business successful. And so part of that is understanding the nuances of business languages, but it's not just about like you could read an accounting, spreadsheet and understand that. It's more about what makes a business successful, sustainable, profitable. And for me, part of the takeaways from getting my degree was the emphasis too on collaboration and working across teams with people who have very different backgrounds, and really also learning from others, because the whole, you predominantly learn on case studies. Of course, there's textbooks, but so much of it is based on case studies from other businesses across industries. And I think being able to use that and think about how you can apply it to your own was a huge opportunity for me.
You've been, I always, we could go on forever. I know that we're short on time. So I'll ask you if you want to give a plug for Solid Chicago, which will be in the Seyfarth offices on April 9th.
Yes.
What are you most looking forward to?
always a pleasure to get in with you and all the members of the Solid community. Really looking forward to the conversations. I know the thinking out loud, the leveling up that's going to be happening in the room. So please, join us and thank you for your time.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thanks.
If you enjoyed this show, be sure to give us a like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your shows. And if you want to take your career from now to next, never eat alone.